Techniques for photo manipulation. Now, photo manipulation involves combining multiple images into a single cohesive composition. So that's really what photo manipulation is in like the definition. I just want to create a simple scene from our concept that we just did and using only a few images and combining what we've learned thus far and creating a dope photo manipulation cover art. But first, before we get into Photoshop and get to use all these techniques that we've used thus far to create a simple cover art, I mentioned it before, but I do want to just double down. I definitely advise you guys getting a pen. A drawing pen, a drawing tablet can significantly enhance your precision and control when working in Photoshop in general, especially for tasks like photo manipulation. Definitely consider investing in a drawing tablet if you plan on doing a lot of detailed work in Photoshop. So a lot of covers that you see do use the pen to create those highlights, to create those outlines, to create those lines that you see throughout. Sometimes a lot of the detail covers, not necessarily the photo-based covers. That's just something to know if you wanted to know. And sometimes it just hurts your wrists and stuff when you constantly just working on the mouse, especially if you don't have the right mouse to be working out of. But here are some of the benefits of having a pen and a tablet rather than just using the mouse and the keyboard or using all of them. The first thing is going to be pressure sensitivity, and it allows for more natural and nuanced brush strokes. So when you're drawing, the harder you push down and drag, it literally takes it and treats it like it's an actual pen instead of just like a pen and a tablet on a piece of screen where everything is kind of uniform. It really treats it like you're actually drawing something. So that's why I like the pen. Also, it gives you greater control to offer more precision than a mouse for more detailed work. And then it has ergonomic design. So when you're using this pen, it's just sometimes easier to move things around and just use the tablet to just move things around and then just create like that rather than using a mouse. And it reduces strain sometimes on my hand and my wrist when I'm doing like long design sessions. That's why I like the pen. And versatility is useful for sketching, painting, and retouching images. You saw me do in the concept class, I was using a pen to create and draw quickly like that. You won't get that type of precision or quickness by trying to use a mouse. It doesn't matter how hard you try, it just won't work. Before we hop into Photoshop one last time, I just want to explore some powerful tools and methods that I'm going to be going over when I'm selecting my different images inside this cover art. The first one I want to go over, this is our image from the concept class. So we are going to be creating this cover art that we already sketched out in the previous, just so I can show you how to take a concept to reality. I just want to show you guys a few ways that you can select the object inside of it. The first object is going to be under this tool right here, which is usually the magic wand tool. We kind of went over that by selecting different areas and creating a mask. But you can also use the quick selection tool the same way, and it'll just grab certain parts like of the colors, like everything that's like close by or close together. You can kind of like use that to create a mask and a selection as well. I already went over the magic wand tool. The magic wand tool is underneath here. Once again, if you click on this, you can adjust your tolerance level and your point sample and everything like that. So it's pretty much gonna keep adding on to whatever colors are nearby. So if all the colors are like similar, then it's gonna grab all the colors in that little group all together. Lastly is gonna be the pen tool. This is if you have any type of design and it's very, very complex. So for instance, like, let me just go on the pants here. On the pen tool, you would just literally, it's just like the polygonal lasso tool, but you can kind of move it, eliminate the stroke and the fill because you just want the outline. So let's just do this quickly. If you want to select everything out here, say we just was select this, and then you can also adjust it like that by just holding and stretching and moving it. But say if you just want to select that, because I'm gonna use a different selection method. With the path selected on the pen tool, you go down here, it's gonna give you another set of options. You can create a mask still from this layer as well, or you could load it as a selection, stroke it with a brush, or fill it with a foreground. For this, we would just load this as a selection, and then we would go on the actual image of our person and then create a mask from the selection. Bootcamp. I know you guys are finally excited to create a cover art finally in this bootcamp, man. I'm excited. If you have to go back and watch anything to get caught up in this one, that's cool. You've been creating little cover arts thus far, but this one is the one where we're really starting to add elements, blend elements together, and create something fire. So first things first, we have to look at the main sketch. I'm kind of just going based on this sketch. I'm just going to go ahead and start laying things out. I'm not going to start cutting anything out. Go ahead and make everything invisible. So before we start cutting out the homeboy, let's lay out our background. And our background right now is some sand dune type thing with the blue and purple sunset with the stars. So let's go ahead and get that right. We're gonna label this main guy, and then I have a few different picks to use, like for background, sand and stuff. This is tough. That's kind of small though. This one's pretty cool. I kind of like that, not gonna lie. But I do have a background that I really liked. I like this orange horizon that it had too. This kind of looked just like that, not gonna lie. I think it's just different stars. That's cool. I kind of like this orange to purple. I'm not gonna lie. This orange to purple kind of looks better than this darkness, but I kind of like this, not gonna lie. So let's go ahead and just throw that in there. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I could just leave the star background like that, but this looks tough too. I'm not gonna lie, like I can't lie, like the stars look cool on this as well. Like if I just put this, it looks more like a horizon like that. But the only problem with that is you probably need to make this smaller like that. What y'all think? That or that? That or that? That or that? That or that? We're gonna just leave it how it is. We do need to add some like rocks and stuff on the horizon based on the pyramids here, because it does say blue to purple. It really doesn't say anything about orange. I feel like the other one was a little bit more orangey than I wanted it to be, but I could have changed the color. But I was like, the background how it is fire. We need to add some of these dunes here on the horizon. That's why I went and grabbed some of these dunes here. So we have this one, I think this one, I can delete that now, turn that one on. That one was cool, but I just like the dirt for real. That was the only reason why I even like that joint. So maybe start adding a few here. I kind of like this space here. If I add some dunes here, I can actually make it a little bit smaller, kind of like this. I like how on the horizon, and you kind of want things to line up. It's easier to blend things and integrate things together when things kind of line up, because you don't have to do extra work. So this one is pretty cool here. This one is kind of already in the shadows anyway, so probably line that up back there. And now it kind of looks like you know what I'm saying, kind of matches, you feel me? So when I start to blend these in together, it kind of already is rocking. So we already kind of have our horizon going on here. Boom. Let's go ahead and throw in our hourglass. How big would the hourglass be? Probably something like that. You want to give it enough space at the top. The hourglass will probably be sitting somewhere here with the thrones and stuff. See if we even need it. I don't know. It says hourglass behind the statue of the guy. So then look how everything connects. Look how that connects. I could have just threw that in there too, like if I wanted to type. Like that could go in front of the hourglass, and then the background can be removed too. You know what I'm saying? Like if I wanted it to be like that. The guy, he's here. I want to leave a little bit of space for the rebirth at the bottom. So with him, make him a little bit smaller. If you need to, drop the opacity so then you can see underneath. I kind of like it here. Make him just a little bit bigger. Probably align that right here, the dirt and everything, boost that back up. And then we have the chair, but let me drop the opacity on him down just so I can align the chair up with him correctly. The chair will go right underneath him. And the chair, you kind of want that to kind of match up with what's already going on. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of just kind of matching and replacing. Make sure he's sitting in the seat, right? So maybe if I boost his opacity back up so I can see, maybe drop the opacity of the chair down a little bit, bottom there. And as long as he's sitting in the seat, because this seat is kind of lower. Boom, something like that. It don't got to be perfect right now. You just kind of want everything to kind of align. So everything looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and get this background cracking first. So first you got to save it up. After I saved it, now I have my background here, and I will be providing this cover art just so you guys can look through it and work on the layers and stuff like that. I'll be back in a second. I'm going to take the video off for now because I just want to focus on the cover art. Really, I just want to focus on the cover art and just providing you step-by-step directions without having any video, because it just takes up more time. So right now I'm going to disappear, and now I'm about to hop into Photoshop. We are now about to start merging this background together. And now first things first, I really like the background how it is. I do want to separate this background from the sky just so it can have its own layer. Select sky. Like I said, there's multiple ways to do things, and just don't make your job harder. We're gonna go ahead and just make it a mask, and this is gonna, and look how good that detail is. That's crazy. We're gonna go ahead and duplicate that. Make sure you select it on the mask layer and just invert that, pressing Control I, and we could put this as sky and ground. Cool. Now we got this next one here. This one's pretty cool. We need to just remove the background from here too. Select sky, go ahead and create that mask, go ahead and invert that mask, and that looks clean, bruh. Very clean, bruh. Now we're gonna want to merge this in a little bit together, because right now there is a definite like separation here. So since you already have a mask, use that brush layer. You're gonna use a nice soft brush, make this smaller, and then we're gonna go ahead and paint. And now as you can see, as I'm painting, the colors are coming back. That's because I am selected on the wrong one. So make sure that black is on there so you could paint more black to remove. And all we're doing is softly going ahead and blending this in. Since it's kind of the same color, you really don't see it that much. And sometimes you just want a bigger soft brush, so then you're using like the edge of it to kind of get that fading that you're looking for, because you don't want it too strong. Like I said, you want a nice strong fade. Like look at that clean fade, bro. A clean fade, bro. And if I wanted to like do even extra, I would go ahead and find some dirt and go ahead and remove the dirt like that. That's calm right there. Very calm. Very calm. It looks like some sort of sharp shadow right here. We're gonna name this right mountain. Now let's do the left one. Same thing. We're just gonna go ahead and select sky, and it's doing a very good job of just selecting the sky. We're gonna go ahead and invert that. Look at that. That's tough. We're gonna do the same thing that we just did on the right side here on the left side. Let's go ahead and just go ahead and brush that softly. Right now I'm just using the mouse because we haven't gotten into too many details, but once we get into those details of adding shadows and highlights and depth, you'll see me whip out my brush. But yeah, now I'm just increasing the brush size, and like I said, the further you increase the brush size, the soft that blending is. That looks really good. That looks really good. Just blending multiple images in by itself, tough. We're gonna name this left mountain. This one's calm too. Like it just adds a little bit more dry with no like tumbleweeds or nothing, and this side kind of has tumbleweeds. It kind of looks uneven. I kind of want to flip this, so edit. Let's just see how it looks, because you never know. Flip. Oh yeah, it still kind of works. You, like I said, you want to just try to pick something that's aligned. So let's go ahead and select sky. Let's go ahead and create that mask, invert that mask, and that's calm. It's like a few mountains back there, but we don't really need those because we have these right here. So we even gonna, when we blend this, we're gonna go ahead and just blend those mountains away. We don't really need that back there. Make it smaller. Very soft. Now I'm moving around using the hand tool. I'm using the space tool to like get that hand tool to move everything around. If you ask them like, oh, how are you moving it so quickly? That's how I'm doing it, using the hand tool. And I'm going ahead and slightly, like you said, nice big brush, moving out. Go ahead and brush, brush, brush. There we go. There we go. That's calm. That's cool right there. That's not too bad. Name this middle mountain. So I'm gonna move this stuff up here, and I'm gonna create a layer called chair, just so I know where to find it later. The middle mountain though is kind of causing me problems because this is where the person is gonna go. That should be good. Maybe we should have moved it a little bit closer in here, something like that, like a little bit more like dirt, take up some of that empty space that it had. You see how there's a lot of empty space right there, and you see how the tumbleweeds are like right there, and this is kind of flat how it is. So yeah, let me just rock with this. Just go ahead and adjust this a little bit, make it a little bit smaller. Next is gonna be the hourglass. The hourglass is kind of already where it's supposed to be because we already like kind of placed it up using the guides. So it's probably gonna sit like right there. Now the guide, you can use any type of thing. You can use the pen tool, you can use the magic wand tool, anything that like what you want to do. Me, I'm just gonna go simple, select subject because it's there and I pay for Adobe, so why not? And this one is only selected the chair because I really don't want the chair in there. I really just want him. So I just go ahead and check, double check, make sure everything is right. Go ahead and add anything that you feel like needs. I'm gonna go ahead and add in some more. So I'm gonna use a polygonal tool, and as you can see, mine has a plus by it. You just go here on the options bar and you can plus or subtract. We kind of went over that too. Go ahead and add that to the selection. Part of the things that the select subject didn't give me, but it gave me a good start. All right, select this one right here, we're gonna subtract some things from the selection, which is the chair pretty much. Make a circle. Boom. Remove from the chair. They got like this weird area right here. Go ahead and only select his leg. All right, the leg is already selected here. You're just gonna follow the leg. Make sure you select the whole leg of the chair. Gotta be mindful when you do this too. Go check everything. This arm right here, go ahead and get that right. Nice strong selection right here. I do want to increase this selection, so go up to select, modify, and we're going to expand by 2. And as you can see, the selection moved out by 2 centimeters. I think maybe we just need to do 1. Select, modify, expand, or 1. We're gonna go ahead and just do 1. We need to fix up here in this hair, but we'll get to here in a second. Now that's a strong selection right there. But we can go ahead and remove this selection. This one is still by a meter, needs to refine this selection, because as you can see, it's a strong white stroke around it, and we want to get rid of that, right? And then we're just gonna double click on the layer, and as you can see, now we have this red color mask area to show us everything that's already been masked out for us. Now we can go in here and go ahead and go under edge detection, and as you can see, now that white is gone from everything. It's a nice smooth detection. Now you can do smart radius too, and if you want to just bring it down just a little bit, just so it's not as strong. But now it's a nice clean cut. The only problem now is here is the hair, and you can go in there by just selecting using the refine edge brush tool. They give you a whole another set of tools. You can come up here and click refined hair, and I'll go ahead and start removing some of the stuff from the hair. Now it's not gonna get it perfect, but you gotta get in there, move this down a little bit, and then this is where you start selecting parts of the hair, all the yellow, so then I'll delete everything that kind of resembles that. There we go. There we go. And now that takes everything off from the hair. Now we have a nice strong selection. We're just gonna go ahead and press OK. Now that's fire, right? Now what's wrong with this man's leg? It kind of looks like it's missing a chunk, like a shark bit him or something. Like very odd, very strange. So we're gonna put the chair underneath the guy. Turn that chair layer on. We gotta turn on all these layers. We don't need these right now. We just need the chair. So let's turn off the guy. We have the chair. We could just remove the background here. Now, if you're still working on the other Adobe and you still don't have like the content aware, all this, that, I don't know what you're doing, man. You need to get it together. Get your life right. We're missing a few pieces. The white didn't catch for all that. Now, if we wanted to be easy, we could just go ahead and select the magic wand tool. The magic wand tool will select everything in the white, and then all we would have to do is like go ahead and like just brush it out. Same thing right here on this little area, but it's like a little white here too. It's a little white here too. Go ahead and just brush that out. Now we're going to get to the whole coloring and shading and all that other stuff for the chair, but we just want to make sure the guy is sitting right in the chair so we have the right perspective. So let's go ahead and move the chair up a little bit. Oh, that kind of fits. He's kind of sitting in it with his arm on the thing. You're trying to get that to match up for real. Now it's not gonna match up perfectly because this is a totally obviously different chair. I'm gonna go ahead and transform it to make sure it fits. If you can get that arm of the chair on his body like that so it matches up, that's cool. But now here on the side, it looked like he's sitting on the edge of the chair. You know what I'm saying? So let's get his butt in the chair first. So the butt is in the chair. The arm of the chair is calm right here. He's in the chair though. This is where the chair, he's sitting on it. So you see that perspective right here. He looks like his leg is coming off the chair there. He looks comfortable in the chair. We just got to get this arm right and this leg piece together here. So how will we do that? Look at the chair. I want to keep the same perspective of keeping it like right here because that's where he's sitting at. So it's either move the chair over, but then this is messing up this. So I'm gonna rock with this on the right side because I feel like it fits. It's fitting there. That's a calm fit. This is fit. The leg, his butt is in the chair. Maybe we clean this up a little bit. Get that calm right here. This looks natural. This looks natural. This right here does not look natural. So first what we're gonna have to do is go onto the guy, select this part right there, select this whole area, and then as you can see, generative fill come in. This is kind of where we use some AI, but we will have a whole AI segment later on in the bootcamp. Just for now, we're just going to go ahead and generative fill, and then you just don't have to write anything. You just have to probably generate, and it's going to fill in that leg. Now, once again, if you do not have the newest Adobe Photoshop, whatever steps I'm taking, you would have to make, it would take you like 4 or 5 hours to, not 4 or 5 hours, it'll take you like maybe 30-40 minutes to kind of like try to mask and create the same type of effect. And the funny thing is, I really just wanted it to fill in the leg, but obviously it's seeing what I'm trying to do, and it put a shadow there, it put the arm of the chair right there. This one, I could do it like this, I could do it like that, and if I want to, I can generate one more just to see. That's cool too. But this first one, this second one kind of did it for me. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This second one kind of did it for me. If I zoom out, yeah, that second one kind of did it for me. This one kind of looks weird. This one kind of just fits. That one, this one works. Yeah, this one works. And if I wanted to, I could do it for the same side on this here and add those shadows, but I don't think it needs it. Go ahead and create a smart object. We're gonna call this main guy. And like I said, the mask and everything will still be able to be interchangeable just by going in there. Now, if I wanted to, I could do this, but I'm gonna just add some dodge and burning to this. But that's cool. We got the guy in the chair here. That's fire. Main guy and the chair. It kind of looks a little bit off center. So let's go ahead and just move the chair and the guy like right there. The hourglass is behind them. I feel like the hourglass isn't hitting like we thought it would hit behind him. It just is taking up a lot of space. So maybe I use the hourglass, and that can be like one of the items that's in the dirt. And these are things that you figure out as you're creating the cover art. You don't have to stick to the sketch as is. Every little thing has to be by the sketch. I feel like the colors are hitting how they're supposed to. Everything is like calm. Like the oranges is blazing off of him a little bit. The purples, like everything's kind of right. Let's go ahead and save that up. So next we could take the guy out and the chair out and start blending in some of these backgrounds, because right now it kind of looks kind of like not right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and take this right mountain. We're gonna go up to filter, neural filters. And I just like doing it this way because it's my way, but like other people have different ways that they like blending. Go to turn on harmonization. We're going to take the layer, and then we're going to go with the sky because we want it to really match the sky. And as you can see, now it's kind of matching the sky a little better. But if we wanted to do the ground, that's how we label stuff. The ground and the sky is pretty much the same. So we want to turn the strength up. Or if we want to turn the strength down, as you can see the image there. I do want to bring down that brightness just a little bit, because for me, if it's gonna be thing, it has to be darker. Like these over here, I don't even know what this is called. Like a sand mountain. I don't even know. Sand mountain. I just dropped down the saturation just a little bit, but that's cool with me. We're gonna do same thing with the left mountain. Select the ground. Yeah, calm. We could turn that brightness up a little bit. Kind of match this one because it was a little bit too. Get that saturation right. Kind of get these two to match a little bit. And now we have to do it one more time for the middle mountain, because the middle mountain is the one that's off the most. And we're going to go do that based off the ground because it's already in the ground. But that saturation, as you can see, it's on the magenta side a lot. Let's add some green into it. And as you can see now, it matches up with the tone of the dirt and everything a little bit better. Just go ahead and just bring that brightness down a little bit because it's a little bit too bright for it to be like dirt. There we go. That is calm right there. For the sky, let's go ahead and add an adjustment layer. We're going to add curves to this. We're going to go ahead and click here to create that clipping mask on here. And we just want to bring the sky down a little bit because I do just want to make it a little bit darker. That's it. Nothing too crazy. Boost up that orange just a little bit. And that's cool. Select all these options, and we're going to name this main background. Then we got the hourglass that we might go ahead and add in there. Save that up. Now we got the main guy still, and then the chair. So with this chair, we want this chair to kind of be a part of the sand and everything like that. So first things first is go to filter, neural filters. Go ahead and harmonize that to the ground. That's going to kind of give me the same vibe. We can kind of boost the brightness up a little bit. We don't want it too crazy. But for me, it's a little bit too green because of, I guess, what we just had. And give it more of a magenta type of look. Boom. And that's just to start it off, right? So now let's go ahead and add a hue and saturation adjustment layer. Let's add a clipping mask to that so it only affects this. Let's bring that saturation kind of down a little bit. Not gonna lie to you. Share, boom, like that. Let's go ahead and double click on here and bring up the layer styles for the chair. And then we're just gonna add a color overlay. Set this to overlay. We're gonna bring this opacity up 100, and then we're gonna just grab a color, one of the brightest colors, up out the sand, and something that's close by it so it doesn't look too off kilter. That's calm right there. For the hue and saturation, let's just adjust that a little bit, bring that brightness up just a little bit, nothing too crazy. Boom. And then let's go make some adjustments on this by using the curves. Go ahead and create another clipping mask. We want to adjust some shadows in there. Bring down those highlights on this a little bit. Boom. But bring it up so it's a little bit bright. Bring the darkness. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I think for the color, I just want to bring the color down just a little bit. It's a little bit too strong. That's cool right there. I grabbed some soil, so it looks like the dirt on the ground a little bit. It looks like crackled dirt. This one looks a little bit closer to what we have already. And since it's already over it, we could just go right click and create a clipping mask. Let's make it a little bit smaller. And then we're gonna have to duplicate this a few times. And then really you just want to use the blending mode. And you want to darken because you want to grab the darkest parts of the image. But I always look to see like what other options they have. Overlay and soft light don't look half bad either. But darker colors kind of like the vibe I'm going for. But darken kind of works. Yeah, we're gonna rock with darken. Cool. Then we're gonna duplicate that layer. We could delete this one. Create a clipping mask for this as well. And then you just want to move this around because you already have one. So like maybe make it larger. Move the chair here. Give it some more details and stuff. If you want to do it again, copy it again. Do the same thing. Create that clipping mask. Maybe make it smaller. Move it here on this piece here. Turn opacity down or higher depending on how strong you want it. Now the chair is looking pretty good. It's looking kind of dark. I feel like the chair needs its own set of highlights and things now. So right now, this is what we have. This kind of looks similar to this. You see how a sketch turns into reality. Let me go ahead and just turn on the hourglass. Turn it on this side or something like that. And it's gonna probably be in the dirt up beneath his shoe somewhere like that. Like nothing too crazy. But it's gonna be in the dirt. We just haven't gotten there yet. So let's have to start adding some depth. We have to start adding some shadows, some dodge, some burning, some highlights, things like that. And this is where you're probably going to see me break out the pen. Let's start with the chair. The main guy is here. This is pretty much where all the highlights are going to go. You're probably going to follow this. We're going to dodge and burn the edges. Get up beneath his ass and wherever the shadows might be, like on the back of him, stuff like that. And you're going to create a dodge and burn layer by creating a new layer, pressing Shift F5, and you're going to fill this with 50% gray. Now you can fill it with any other color too, it comes up, but we need 50% gray for this. And we're going to set this to overlay. And with that, you're going to go ahead and clip this mask, and we're going to clip this mask to the chair, and we're going to name this layer dodge and burn. We're going to do it on one layer. Most of the times you want to do it on two separate layers, but you know, just to save time. You're gonna go over here on this side tool right here, and this is where we're gonna use the dodge and the burn tool. Now the burn tool, what happens when you get burnt? You get dark, don't you? That's what burning is, and dodging is just the opposite of burning. I think they could have came up with a little better name, but whatever. Now with the dodge and burn tool, you can go up here on and you can adjust the shadows, the midtones, and the highlights, and whatever you select, that's what will be affected. Right now we're just doing the shadows, and we're just gonna go right up underneath the arm, add some depth, so now it's like a shadowy type of figure. And I think I need to desaturate all of these because for some reason they're giving me like this orange and red hue in here, and I really don't want that. Adjustments, black and white. Same thing with this one. Image, adjustments, black and white. Now it's gone. That's better. That orange and yellow was kind of blowing me. But anyways, here we are back on the burn tool. And now, like I said, we're just burning right up underneath the parts where he's sitting at to give it depth. Now you could add a drop shadow here, but that drop shadow just doesn't give the same kind of feeling as when you add like a burn. It just looks like you have like more control. This effect can be done with just using a soft brush too. Dang, it looks like I'm gonna have to refine his hair a little bit more. We're gonna go here on this chair too, nice and softly. The chair and here don't match, so we're gonna have to fix that. So we're gonna go right there, soft on the bum, right there on the shadow, and then soft up underneath the shadow here where his arm is. Make it a little bit smaller. I'm just gonna burn his arm right there, just to give it some separation. Right up underneath his leg. There we go. There we go. Save that. Now that just added a slight little depth. You probably really can't even tell what even happened, but I can tell. So now we're gonna go to dodge, and we're gonna dodge the highlights. You can adjust the exposure of how strong you want them. This one you might be able to see a little bit better. And since the light is coming so strong from the left side here, let's just go ahead and start painting it in, just so it's soft. As you can see, it's brightening it up just a little bit because it's getting hit by the light from the right side. So let's go ahead and just adjust some of these lighting on the arm of the chair type thing, and it probably would have hit like here too. You're just kind of trying to go based off where you think it would hit at the lights. You want to go in where it's like already lit up. Ooh, slight light right here, probably right beneath top of the chair, right there, right beneath the chair a little bit here. Yeah, on the arm of the chair. Nothing too crazy. It would hit all over on this side only because this is the left side of the chair where the light is coming from. Let's go ahead. Cool. Now it gives us some character. You feel like it needs a little bit more, just add some. I think it's cool how it is. Nothing too much, but it gives you a little character right there, bro. Now with the chair, it's in this grassy area, but for some reason it's not working with this. Like, what are we gonna do here? We need to go ahead and create a mask. And now the mask is back. We're gonna go to that brush tool. I keep telling you guys that brush tool, you're gonna use that brush tool a lot. Now we're gonna have to find something that kind of works with this. This is kind of like grass and sand. You can kind of go and find grass and sand brushes to give you that same authentic feel, but most of the time you can find like hair and grass. Like, yeah, let me do grass. So give me a nice grass brush right here, and let's go ahead and just mask this out, just so it looks like it's blending in a little bit better with the trees. There we go. There we go. It looks like it's sitting on top. Boom. That's calm. Same thing here, and we just go ahead and keep clicking it a few times so it goes in the dirt. Same thing with this back here. We want to keep it as realistic as possible. There we go. Same thing back here. So So it looks like it's sitting. I might have to clean it up because as you can see, it's still a white outline on it a little bit. But yeah, the dirt is in the dirt right there. That looks straight. So now we have to adjust the guy a little bit to make him fit in what's going on here. Now with the main guy, I could go to filter, no filters, and we can go ahead and see harmonization. That's the sky layer. Boom. Turn his brightness up a little bit. Press OK. And as you can see, this is before. He was a little bright. This is after. We got to go in there and fix that armchair and delete that. So now we got that like empty space back in there again. So we're just going to do what we did already. Let's go ahead and generate it. So now the shadow has came back. I'm kind of liking that. That one kind of looks weird. That one's straight for real. But this one, it feels like it's more depth. If I go like that, back it up. Yeah, that one looks straight. Go ahead and create another smart object. Name this main guy again. You're always gonna name it main guy, but let's start adding some burn and dodging to this guy here to give him some depth. For some reason, his hair is still like a thinly white line on there, like around his hair. Create a mask on this guy here. You can go back into the smart object and adjust it, but sometimes it just gives you problems. It's giving me problems right now, so I'm just gonna go ahead and we're just removing this slight highlight because we want to add our own highlight. We don't want the one that's given to us. So let's go ahead and just remove this right here using a nice small brush. That's calm. Now his hair looks much better. So now we have to start making some adjustments for this guy right here. So we got to do that same thing that we just did. Let's go ahead and create a new layer. Create a clipping mask to this layer. We're going to go Shift F5, create a new 50% gray layer. Now what do? We go ahead and create the overlay. Press enter. We're going to go back to burn. We're going to burn this guy up. Make him nice and dark. So make sure you select it on the dodge and burn layer here. Dodge and burn. And now all you're gonna do, since it's already clicked the shadows, let's go maybe like 50%. Go ahead and zoom in, and you really want to go over the parts that have shadows on it, bruh, to make things a little bit darker. Make this a little bit smaller, and this where the places that already have like shadows and stuff, you're just making the shadows just a wee bit darker. Go up in here in the shadows where the arm is at. Make that nice and dark. Touch the fingers. Woo, woo, woo. And you just want to touch everything that has some sort of shadow on it, because you want to go ahead and darken that shadow up a little bit. Especially the parts that, or the sun shot would not be hitting. Cool. So now that's all we're doing for this one. Here we go. Get them shadows right. If this is the light side, this gotta be the dark side, right? So that's all we're burning right here. We're gonna get into it when we start getting into curves and stuff. Start painting on the curves, but this is what I want to show y'all right now, because we're not into the highlights and the curves right now. This is all shadow and burning. This looks like it's hidden, so underneath the shoe, it would be a little bit darker because it wouldn't be getting any love, obviously, because it's the shadow side. Correct? Same here, all up in this. Get the leg, back side of the leg. Back side of the leg, get some texture up in there. The arms, right up in there. Cool. That gives you just a little bit of darkness. So let's go ahead and add a little bit of dodging in here. And you're just going to dodge just the parts where the sun or the light is going to hit. We can even bring that exposure down to like 15. And you're just going to lightly touch the opposite side of the places that you already hit the burn, because this is making everything brighter. So whatever the sun hits, this is what would get a little bit of dodging. Right up there on his arm, on the chest area, his hand, it's his face a little bit. And if you need to go back to dodge, you can do that too. Or if you need to go back to burn, you can do that too, to burn places. that didn't get enough love. That's adding like some character to it already. One thing I didn't get to do for the guy, the main guy, I go to filter, camera raw filter, and for him, I do want to add a little bit of contrast, a little bit, but nothing too crazy because we already kind of have our thing. We're gonna add a little bit of clarity, just a little bit of texture. Bring that dehaze up a little bit so it's softer. And then right here under sharpening. Now right now it is like, dang, let me do like 300, move it up. Now you can see it's still kind of sharp, so we're gonna bring that noise reduction to give him nice like smooth. See how his skin just turned a little bit smooth, and we're just gonna add a little bit of sharpening in there to just bring it back. But yeah, that's calm. Yes, right? Let's go ahead and create a folder for this guy. We're gonna call this main guy once again, main guy folder. Kind of start adding in some of the extra shadows that we might need before we start adding in like the highlights and any more dodging and burning. So like underneath his foot, this would be like a shadow up underneath here. So let's create a new layer. It's already black. Let's go ahead and go back to basic brush. We're gonna make this as big as about the shoe, right? And we're gonna go ahead and adjust the brush settings right up underneath here. Yeah, now let's change direction because it'd be something like that. And the flow, let's turn that flow down to like 1920, and it'd be like a little bit of separation between the shoe and the shadow. Remember, just press it a few times. There we go. I kind of like that. But you can also move this shadow. Let's name this shadow layer. You can move this back a little bit too. Give it like some highlights. And then with this shadow here, we can go ahead and move this kind of straight on because that's where this shadow is coming from. And we're just gonna paint that a few times too. Maybe make it a little bit smaller. Yeah, I messed with that right there. That's all I really see too much for the shadows. I don't really see too much going on that we would need. The chair for me, the curves need to be adjusted. Maybe make it a little bit darker. Bring the highlights down a little bit. There we go. That's cool. So everything's pretty much laid up. Let's try to get this hourglass out the way. How would you want something in the ground a little bit? We got to start. Obviously, we got to filter. Neural filters is in the ground. So obviously, let's go ahead and attack that ground layer. Put it in the ground. That kind of matches up. Let's bring that brightness down a little bit. Boom. Let's just move that to the magenta side a little bit. Ooh, match it up a little bit better. Cool. Press OK. Now let's go ahead and create a mask for this layer. I just use oil round. It's a free one that you can get, whatever. But I would go ahead and get dirt. But here, there we go. The flow is low, like 21%. So I got to click on it a few times to start evaporating some of this dirt. And I want it to come out a little bit. But like mostly all this is in the dirt. Maybe it might be popping up. Curves. Keep everything at normal. You can play with the opacity a little bit, but you don't want to take away from it too much. What I would do is go ahead and create a smart object for anything with the neural filter layer on it, because it just be messing up sometimes. Let me just call this hourglass. Since it's already behind the chair, let's go ahead and just move it behind the chair. Let's go ahead and even swap that joint. Edit, transform. Flip horizontal, and it could be like here, out here somewhere, like in the mist, you know what I'm saying, instead of in the front. I feel like in the front is going to be taken away from too much, and that kind of looks a little bit better too, not even gonna lie. And then for this one, I do want to create one more, just a quick burn and dodge layer, nothing too crazy. Make sure to go ahead and create a clipping mask. Press OK, and we're gonna go ahead and burn that baby. Burn, baby, burn. And we're just gonna burn it over here on the grass. something like this. And then we're gonna dodge on the outside, slight light. The hourglass is back there, so we didn't be able to add the hourglass. We couldn't add the hourglass in the back, but we couldn't add pretty much any old objects, so I just like hourglass behind. It still kind of works, it's just not behind him, it's off to the side a little bit. So now let's move on to working with light and shadow to create depth. So like I said, now we're working with light and shadow to create depth. As you can see now, this is me using the pen tool. It's going to be very different from me actually using the mouse. I've used the mouse and the keypad for all of this. Now we're going to go in there and start adding some details. Now light and shadow are powerful tools for adding depth and realism to your compositions, so I just want to explore how to use them more effectively. First, you're going to need to identify where your light source is coming from in your composition. For ours is obviously coming from a lot of the left. Everything else pretty much is already working like that. That's how we did the dodge and we did some of the burning. So now let's go ahead and start creating some shadows. Now there's multiple ways that you can be able to do this, but first things first is you're gonna have to create this curves layer. You can do curves, you can do exposure. Different people use different things. I like using curves. So you're gonna right click, you're gonna create a clipping mask on top of this guy called the main guy. And for the main guy, we are just bringing his shadows all the way down, very dark here, as you can see, getting those shadows, everything darkness. And we're gonna bring those highlights down too. We don't want anything, we just want darkness. Now with this, it gives us a layer. We're gonna invert that layer, act like nothing even happened, right? So now we're gonna paint white on this black to bring back some of those shadows. So the flow, I am going to bring the flow like at like 45-50%. Let's just do 50%. And since I am using the pen tool, the benefits of the pen tool, as you can see here, always use pressure for opacity. We're going to go ahead and turn that on. Turn these two on here, brush settings. And this is where you'll have more abilities inside of your shape dynamics and pen pressure. So right now my control is pen pressure because obviously I have a pen, but you can't do that if you don't have a pen. So you're gonna make this just a little bit smaller, and let's just go ahead and start painting in some of the dark side of him, and it's gonna be really light. You can go ahead and increase the size a little bit, and there we go. We're gonna start getting some character in here. And the more, like I said, the more you kind of overlay it or double up, because the flow, the build up, and it's going to go the opposite side of where the light is coming from this side. So where would it hit? Get back to where the shadows is at. Get back to the darkness. Right up beneath the leg, hand, chest, the dark side of his face. Let's get up in there. Back of the leg. Gotta get real touchy up in the leg here. Let's go ahead. Yeah, nice and dark. That's calm right there. I don't want to overdo it. Go ahead and paint back some of this, 'cause that's too orange. Cool. I like that. That adds a little bit more dramatics to it. But now we got to start adding some highlights. Now sometimes you can add multiple curves layers, and I just want to show you guys with the curves, without the curves, with the curves, without the curves, with the curves, without the curves. Slight difference, but it's life-changing. Okay, so this was kind of booming in some sort of orange highlight, right? So we need to add some sort of orange highlight on him overall. It's slight light there already on certain parts of him, but we gotta get it a little bit more detailed. Go down here, click the half circle to get the adjustment layers, and we're gonna go ahead and create a solid layer. Some people use different things. I feel like if you use solid layer, it gives you an easier out to create some stuff. We're gonna go ahead and inverse this, and then we're gonna clip this to the guy. Now I clicked this because I wanted to go ahead and select the color. Go ahead and select a nice color in there. One of the lighter colors right here. Boom. Now this turns this to orange, right? Now with this, we're going to be able to start adding some highlights. Now this one is going to be the first set of highlights. The first set of highlights are very, very dark. And you're going to set this layer to normal at first. The flow, we could just put the flow at like 80. Now since it's a clip mask, it's only going to work on the highlights. Boom, there we go. And we're just going to do nice and strong all the way around. I'm going to speed this part up. Make the brush a little bit bigger. There we go. And then play with the settings as you move around. Sometimes you need certain settings at certain points and sometimes you don't. There we go. For me, the hardness is too soft, so I gotta go a little bit harder. Pause. And here we go. Keep going all the way around. You got to do this twice, so don't get mad at me. There we go. And you want a nice strong edge right here. You're gonna go all the way around the arm too. The fingertips. All the way up the arm. Go ahead, get that arm piece right there. Chest, face. And with the pen, you can get up in them details. Without the pen, you can't really get up in here like that. Not even gonna lie. And then you just want to slightly hit the face a little bit. A little bit on the chain. And that's going to give you like a nice strong highlight. But for me, it still looks kind of flat. So for us, we're going to go ahead and click on this and go ahead to linear dodge. And it's going to give us like that nice soft vibe to it. Now we're going to go back in here with the soft brush. Make it extremely soft. 0% hardness. And you're just going to go ahead and back up some of those highlights. Oops. Make sure you're painting black on black to remove some of these highlights to clean up some stuff. There we go. Let's go ahead and start cleaning it up. Make this smaller. Boom. That's calm. And I even probably want to do this leg too. 50% zoom in. Let's get this leg right too. And we're painting white on black to get some of those highlights back. Let's go ahead and keep adding these highlights. And if you want to, like I said, go ahead and add some slight thing. And since you have the pen, if you don't have the pen, like I said, get one. You can go ahead and add some softer highlights in the crevices here. You know what I'm saying? Right along the line. Give it some more character. Let's go ahead and follow this line up. Follow that line up with some highlights. Boom. Go ahead and start adding some on this line here. There in the shadows. Paint, you know what I'm saying? Draw, you know what I'm saying? Get that. Now you can adjust the colors as you need. I want to kind of make mine a little bit darker. For me, the orange is a little bit too light. Trying to figure out how to make that a little bit darker. Maybe instead of color dodge, we go color dodge, screen lighten, lighter, vivid light. We're gonna go vivid light. We're gonna adjust this color a little bit. Get that orange right. That's looking good. That looks good. Cool. We're gonna duplicate this layer. Control J. Create a clipping mask. We're gonna delete the layer mask, right? That looks wild. We're gonna go ahead and double click on it. And we're gonna play with this blend if. Blend if red, blue, we need the gray. You're gonna press Alt. When you press Alt, you're gonna drag. And this means it's gonna only hit on certain parts that you want it to hit on. So it's not the whole orange, but as you can see, it's only taking up parts of the shadows and stuff. And that's exactly what we need to create some dope highlights. That's cool right here. So we're gonna turn this on and create another clipping mask. Create another mask right here. And then this will create a mask. We're gonna go ahead and turn the mask off. Increase your brush a little bit. Turn that flow back down to like 50. And now we just want to start painting where we would see like how the highlights would affect coming off the hard highlights. So now we just paint softly, right here, only on parts that you feel like would come off the light. You can make it smaller if you need to, you know. Here we go. Leg. Go ahead and get that leg. And we're just gonna keep painting all up and down the leg, really. Some of the opposite sides, you can get the opposite side too, just so it can have some shadows and some colors over here on this. Oops. How the light hits on this side, that's fire. Hit the shoulders a little bit. Go into the chest. Let the chest paint in a little bit. Nothing too crazy though, because you don't want it to lose its original essence. With the purple, get the hands a little bit. The inside of the leg a little bit, so it just has that color. Get the face. And if you need to erase something, go ahead and clean that up. I don't really like the red that's going on his hand, so let's go ahead and adjust that in the dodge and burn layer. And you could just do that by gray, and then you just do gray, it's 50%, like something like that. You just got to paint on the same color that the layer is, pretty much, to erase it. Like boom, there we go. Bring that down a little bit. That joint was too harsh. It has some strong highlights and layers that really give the color some fire, bruh. So let's just see how it is without. See, it's losing this. Now it has some curves. There we go. Then the highlights are very slight. Nothing too crazy on the highlights, but the highlights are there. And now you have your extra highlights. Second set of highlights right there. Now we need to copy this again, because now we need to work on the chair. Create a clipping mask on there. We're gonna delete the layer mask. Create another one. Linear dodge. Color dodge is gonna give you that right there. Linear dodge is gonna give you that. That's pretty cool. We're gonna go ahead and create a layer mask. Invert that layer mask. And now we're just gonna do that same thing and paint on the chair. And it's really only where the highlights would be. You don't gotta overdo it. And once again, you want a nice hard brush, only because you want more control when you're doing something like this. And then we gotta go back and clean it up anyways. Sometimes you need to put that flow back up to 100 if it's giving you problems. I get a lot more, as you can see, a lot more control with that joint. And then with this one, click on the main layer. We're gonna go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, convert to a smart object, and then just gonna soften the blow up a little bit, but nothing too crazy. There we go. Softness on the chair. Same thing that we just did. We're gonna go ahead and duplicate it again. Go back, create another clipping mask. Delete this clipping, or delete this layer. Go ahead and fix the blending mode. There we go. There we go. That's cool. And if you need to adjust it, go ahead and fix that linear dodge right there. Color dodge gives it like a orangey vibe, but this one we want that yellow orange from the sunset over there. And you can even adjust the color if you need to. If you want to make it even more orangey, bring it down a little bit. Go ahead and create that mask. Turn that mask on. Brush. Our brush for this one is a softer brush. Turn it up. Turn it up. And there we go. Start painting away. Now I do want to drop the flow down, because we're going to be painting a few times over this. little bit, just a little bit. It's coming off the top of the chair. Go ahead, get in there. Highlight right there. Maybe hit up on a little bit on the side. You don't want this side completely. You know what I'm saying? Still getting some lighting on there. The tombs right here where the light is. As you can see now, the chair even has some character in it. It has some orange, it has some highlights to it. Look, the chair before, without all of our adjustments, looks like a plain chair. We added some soft highlights, some strong highlights, and some dodge and burning, and all of that creates shadow and depth. So this usually guides the user's eyes throughout the image. Let's go ahead and save that up. And I really want to do or like work on like all of the extras in here, because it's like a lot more that you can do, but I don't want to show you guys all that because I don't want you guys to get overwhelmed. I just want you to be able to take in the highlights, me adding the dodge and the burn, me adding different shadows. I probably might add like a little bit of highlights over here on the thing, but it seems like it's so far away, it wouldn't even, it's in the abyss. You really wouldn't be seeing that over there like that. So that's that on depth and the shadows. So I'm gonna go ahead and start collapsing some of these layers. Name this the chair layer. We name this main guy again. This main guy, and then the hourglass. Yeah, so I'm gonna put my pen away for now. Now I just want to add that rebirth up underneath. So let me take out the chair, let me take out the main guy, and now all I have is the main background and like the hourglass back there. And that's pretty much it for that. Like, right, we have object, sand throne, star background. Let's add this word. Now it's kind of looking similar to our original concept and mood board. I do kind of want to do something similar to how they use hot right here in the background. As you see, we still have some of these same highlights in our graphics and stuff. We kind of stick to the same like color palette. We went like blues and oranges and purples. So now let's get to this text. I really like this text here, so I do want to use some sort of serif font accompanied with some sort of sans serif font. It doesn't have to be this exact same font, but something similar. What his name should be, I'm gonna name him Black Ghost. So Black Ghost at the top. Let's go ahead and get that rebirth in there. Now we are about to do a few text type of treatments. Text treatments aren't necessary, but I'm gonna go through that in more detail when we start working on typography, which is the next class. We're just gonna rock. We have this here, Black Ghost. I don't really like this font for this. Let's go ahead and find a font real quick. That's ugly too. I don't really like that there. Everything else is cool. I just don't like that. Does it have any glyphs? If a font has glyphs, I can get away with glyphs. Like where the R at? Nah, they ain't got no glyphs. Let me find one real quick. That shit look ugly. Here we go. We're going with Denton. And then for the R, I'm gonna use this glyph. And I think the H has one too. Alright, so now we have our text here. And I do want to kind of give it like that Star Wars-y feel, but we're going to do that after we make all of our adjustments. So the first things first, you got to go ahead and make another layer. We're going to take both of these and we're going to set these joints to soft light. It's giving like a yellowy tone, but we're going to change the tone later on. So double click this. First things first, we got to do inner shadow. And you can kind of just adjust these settings as you please. I kind of already have them. So if you need to pause it and look, go ahead and pause and look for a second. For the second one, we're going to go ahead, double click on that, bring up the layer style. So we're going to bevel and emboss. You can kind of copy these settings too. We're going to inner bevel, we're going to chisel hard. The depth is at 100. This direction is going down. Size around 177. And then even for contour, go ahead and make your little custom contour to give it a little bit more edge. You know what I'm saying? Press OK. Now we're going to create a new layer because we now need to start creating some sort of outline around this. Right click on this. All these settings it has for text, bro. You're going to create a work path. You're going to click on the outline layer, right? Go to your brush settings. click on the brush. Make sure you're selected on the brush layer. By pressing B. You're gonna go to shape dynamics, and as you can see now my control is off because now I'm using my mouse. We're gonna punch that size up. We're gonna punch that angle up. And then we're gonna just turn on smoothing, and then that's gonna be that. As you can see, the path is now created. We have our brush. Click on this direct selection tool right here on the brush, and you're gonna click on the path. Right click on it. Make sure you're selecting that direct selection tool. You're gonna go stroke path. We're gonna go with the brush because we just created that brush. We're gonna press OK. And that created this outline. We're gonna call this outline 1. The outline with the outline, without the outline. Then with the direct selection tools selected, you're just gonna press the enter button, and that will give away all those lines that you have. But now you still have this outline, which is pretty still thick in my opinion. If you want to go back and adjust the sizing and things like that, you could do that too. I think I'm gonna go back and fix it though. Right click. So pretty much just doing the same thing over again. Create the work path. That with that brush tool selected, let's just make it a little bit thinner. This is cool. I did mine's like 8. Make sure the direct selection tool is selected. You're gonna click on the path, stroke path. Use it with the brush. You can do with any of these things, but you're gonna do with brush. And you don't have to click this. Just press OK. Woo, cancel. Make sure you're selected on that outline layer. Right click, and now you can stroke the path with the brush. Cool. And with this still selected, you just go ahead and press enter, and then you're good. It won't work if you are on another tool, so make sure you are still on the direct selection tool. All right, so now we still have this outline. That looks pretty good. I like that outline. It's giving it like a rugged type of feel. So now with this selected, we're gonna go ahead and click the selection, and you can do this by just pressing Control and clicking on this box. Let's go ahead and create another layer, and in selection, you're gonna modify contract. We're only going to go by 2 because it's not that big of selection, and then go to select, modify, and we're going to feather that selection by like 1, only because it's so thin. And if we zoom in here, we'll see everything that's selected. We're going to go ahead and press Control J. This was the original outline. This was the duplicate outline. So we're going to name this outline 2, and that's going to give us more of like a dirt type of feeling around it. I feel like this one was too perfect. So now we'll have the outline 2 to use. And this is kind of like where all of our settings will be happening from there. So now there's a few settings that we have to make. Double click on the outline. Go to bevel and emboss. And then you're just going to follow my settings from here. So we're going to go nice and smooth this time. Before it was nice and hard. Pause. We're going to go up this time instead of down. The sizing, we're going to bring the sizing down. Soften still at 0. The highlights for the colors, you can kind of move it around. See what works best. I really want all the light to come from over on this side, so that's kind of like what I wanted to do. That's perfect. Keep the gloss contour as it is. You could turn on this anti-alias so it'll be given nice and smooth. We're going to change this to soft light. We're going to change this to linear burn. And then you want to change these colors to like colors that's within. Same thing with this one. Getting a different dirt, lighter like that. This one should probably be what this color is right here. So this should be this. Push this up a little bit, even higher. Yeah. And then this one should be the darker one. Yeah, that's all I got. Press OK. That's cool. Alright, so it kind of gives us our roughness that we need. But for some reason, when I use the soft light, it's just not hitting like I needed to hit. So we're going to go normal for both of these. And then we're just going to change the color to something that's similar to the ground. So then it looks like it's like coming out of the ground. Maybe now I could turn it to soft light. That's tough. That looks kind of good. It kind of see-through though. That one's kind of see-through too. Let me think. Maybe if it's not white, it's like tan. Yeah, that's calm. So I don't want to spend too much time on this. Like I said, this one looks alright. It's not like mind-blowing or anything like that with the text. Go ahead and create a group for it, and then create that group and then convert it to a smart object. We just call this text 1. Right, and now that text 1 is selected, go up to edit, transform. We're gonna go perspective, and then you're gonna take this and then push this like up, or like not up, because up is gonna give you like this weird looking thing. You want to kind of push it towards the center. That's cool right there. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. Black ghost. Put the black ghost on there. Make sure the black ghost is in the ground. Overlay. Soft light. Overlay. Soft light. Soft light gives us this yellowy tone, so we're just gonna rock with that, dog. And we could put this right here in the corner. Like I said, this is no way how you should put your text or anything like that. I'm just like putting this quickly because we literally about to have a whole conversation about text in general. And now that I'm looking at it, I can change this text color to any color I want by just creating a hue and saturation layer. But let me pull up some of the main characters again, just so I can get some ideas for some colors. So let me go ahead and add an adjustment layer. Go ahead and add this hue and saturation layer. Create a clipping mask for that. Go ahead and change the colors up a little bit. I kind of like that, like this orangey color. Cool. And then for this, I can still. Ooh, that looks tough. Linear dots looks good too. Lighter color. Lighter color looks kind of like it's in the ground, does it not? Yeah, we're gonna go with lighter color. Lighter color gives it that idea that's like it's in the dirt a little bit. I'm just turning down the fill just a little bit to like 55. And that's calm right there, bro. No lie. We're gonna go ahead and create a group for this. We just name this text. From an idea, like the concept that we had, to this, fire. Now, I do want to try to go over all of the techniques that we have discussed so far. So to add a final touch to it, let's go ahead and add like an overall filter on it. This one, we wouldn't necessarily add a gradient map, but a photo filter will work for this. And this one, you can pick any one. And as you can see, it's going to make it orangier. So I would go through all these filters just to see which one kind of hits a little better. Ooh, that looks good too. Like that cooling filter to kind of like cool everything out. That one's cool. This purple one is cool. This one kind of balances everything. And the orange and the purple that we already have. The orange is cool. This one is alright. Cyan is alright. I kind of like that. I kind of like the first warming filter that I had because I want it to be warm, but I don't want it to be OD. But if you see, as the warm is building in these purples and these whites that we have, and it's preserving the luminosity by keeping the same brightness. So I'm just going to push it up a little bit just so it's a little bit more orangey than it is purpley. Boom. Fire. And if you wanted to add some more, you can go ahead and add the levels or curves or exposure, but I feel like it's good how it is. I don't want to start overloading it with a bunch of stuff just to say, oh, I got stuff in there. I think this joint came out pretty dope, bro. Like I said, I wasn't trying to do too much to it. I just wanted to kind of do like, lastly, I'll probably just add like a new layer. We're gonna create some noise. Create the noise layer. Let's go shift F5. It's gonna give me 50% gray. And we're gonna go to filter, noise, add noise. We can do monochromatic. Uniform is cool. Gaussian gives you like this. It's all over. Uniform is kind of like all the noise is kind of like in a certain spot. Boom. That's cool. And then all we're gonna do is take this and then we're gonna either overlay it. You can soft light it. You can hard light it. Hard light is gonna give you like this strong set of noise, and then you would just need to bring down the levels. Vivid light works too. I never go past that. So I usually use either overlay or soft light. This one I'm using soft light. I'm gonna put the soft light at 35% because I want it there, but I don't want it like taking over everything. Like, you want the noise there, but you don't want the noise to start taking over everything. 65 is good. So for the last final touches is go ahead and create a nice soft brush. Set that soft brush to flow to 20%. You're gonna have it linear dodge on a new blank layer. We're gonna name this layer glow layer. Okay, I choose the yellow from inside of the actual colors, so I just went like this and pretty much picked the color, pressed OK, and then you just slightly like touch on parts that you feel like would glow a little bit, bring some more highlights to it. So inside him, probably on the chain a little bit, it would be a little glowness over there. Okay, over here by the shoe a little bit, just to bring some highlights back into it. A little bit on the chair to bring like a little bit of glow to it. That's it. Maybe on the shoes just a little bit, just to brighten it up a little bit, but that's it. And as you can see, you could barely even see it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so like I said, this is the first cover art that we've done. So this is the first of a couple that we're gonna knock out. I will be providing this PSD so you guys can break down this PSD layer by layer. I'll also be giving you the same photos to recreate this. So yeah, that has to do with your assignment. But other than that, once again, great work today. I hope you got something from this. I feel like it was a lot going on in this tutorial, but you got to just go back and just keep watching, keep practicing. As you keep practicing, you'll just get better and better and better. You get better with time. Practice makes perfect. Remember that. So for your assignment today, I want you to create a composition using at least 3 different photos. Focus on the seamless integration and use light and shadow to add depth. So make sure you're using the curves layer. I want a filter on there. I want at least 3 images. So if it's like a cat riding a bike, I don't care what you do, but you could use these images. If you want to use these images to kind of recreate or use one of the sketches, because we had 3 sketches. I did one of the sketches. So I'll provide the sketches for this as well. So until next time, you guys, I'll see you next class. And keep creating.